Warning: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purpose such as a criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All people are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. I reserve my First Amendment rights to express myself. Hey everybody, welcome to Dish and Tea with D. So thank you for being here, everybody. Thank you. So we are going to be trying to get back into the groove of things. So we got a lot to cover. I know there are certain topics that I need to follow up on, as far as the Jamal White, Carmelo Anthony, and then the new New York shooting going on. And yes, my older boys are with my dad, right? Or actually, they just got back from some kind of fishing trip. So the little ones are having a ball, if you can hear in the background, without them. So they're kind of like living life right now, and they're being free, and they're basically, I'm letting them play with anything they want to play with. you know, Big Brother's not here. You know. So anyway, we got a lot to cover. So again, we are just going to try to stick with Texas topics from here and around San Antonio area, and other counties, surrounding counties and things like that. So again, hopefully we got a few more weeks before school starts. So hopefully it is the first year where all my kids will be back in school. So I will be having a lot of extra time on my hands until they get out of school. So hopefully I'll be able to catch up during that time. We'll be able to do daily stories, daily news things, daily talks, chit chats, and things like that. And now that my husband has actually got a second job at night now, thank God. I was done working. I did my time putting in 2 or 3 jobs. So I'm taking my break now, and it's his time to get to work, right? So now he has his nighttime job. So maybe I'll be able to do some night segments with you guys. Um, yeah, they're brothers. So if you hear any of them in the background, just don't mind them. When you have a bunch of them, like, the noise doesn't even phase. I'll probably be talking. You'd be like, girl, do you not hear those kids in the background? Be like, noise is noise, right? Okay, let's kind of get into it. I think the first topic, which I really want to talk to you about, is what is in the title. I think I know what the issue is. It's because right now, like, my dogs used to be trained for the most part. I trained them when I was home, when I went back to work. My husband kind of was like, it was easier for him to always have them on the leash tied up so he didn't have to worry about if they were roaming in the wrong area, because he lacked responsibilities and accountability. So now that they're so trained to being on a leash, I'm trying to get them untrained off my leash so I can have them as my pets again, and my little sitting tame buddy. But I gotta control them all to be in their room for the most part. So, and then I have the other one that just tends to not listen. Like, she is the biggest baby, and I'm like, dude, you're the oldest. Like, why are you acting like a baby? Like, ma'am, like, you need to stop. So anyway, so you hear her writing in the background, and you see the other one trying to sneak up behind me. Coco, can you go back to the room, please? Get to the room. Get to the room. Okay. So anyway, let's get to the stories. So the first video I'm going to share with you, it is going to be in regards to the city Prairie View. Their elected officials get served with federal lawsuit papers, and it's actually quite seen. Like, I wish I would have been there. Whew, dogs are testing me. Okay. So anyway, so let's get into this video. Let me go ahead and share it with you guys again. This is in regards to, I believe, children who are apparently, I believe these is Jefferson County. You're up next. Prairie View, Texas special coming right up. Let me see if I can see some of these comments. Oh, but that's right. It was on Instagram. Okay. Let me just share the video. We're going to share this, guys. So let's see. Okay. Volume.
Listen to this. This is the sound of somebody that's about to go to jail. Look at this. This is what the visual is going to look like when somebody's about to go to jail. I know y'all missed me for the last couple weeks because I've been doing some more research. And I had the media reach out to me because somebody on this panel reached out to the media and they brought it to me. So let me make sure y'all understand something. That retaliation don't work with me. Because all the media's gonna do is give it to me and it's gonna make me dig even more. And that's why we got 3 extra lovely boxes today. So I'm just gonna go through this first box. I discovered on the CARES Act and the American Rescue Plan, you had a certain somebody that has a criminal rap sheet that is 12 pages long. And y'all didn't do a criminal background check on this person, and this person is dealing with federal money. That's a problem. And this person has a history of theft and fraud.
My God. Working for Prairie.
And then, of course, this was the emails that I got from the media. This was the emails. And I'm letting you know now, I'm going to trace that IP address. And if I find out it come from one of y'all, so be prepared for a lawsuit. Here is the other folder that deals with 4B. Here's documents of kickbacks with 4B. Right here. All of this is going to the feds on tomorrow. I just thought I should let y'all know. Then, I got documents dealing with the release of information. We had several citizens that requested the 4B documents. I got all the release of information, and this is violation of release of information according to the Attorney General. And this is going to, not Ken Paxton, this is going to the one who they appointed. I got text messages of leadership sending stuff with 4B and talking about monies. That's right here. And also right here. So, I'll be here all night going through all these documents because every one of these documents, every one of these boxes have documents in it. Okay? So, I just wanted to put everyone on notice on this city council.
Please.
Because I'm not the type of person that'll go behind your back. I'm going to tell you in your face. Okay? So now that my time is up, Mr. Mayor, I just have one little thing and I'm done. Let me have,
Mr. Mayor, don't you have more time?
I just need 1 minute.
Okay, well, 1 minute.
I second it. Go ahead.
Thank you. And also, I would like to state in my 1 minute statement.
Hold up, we need this motion.
You gotta get voted on.
Gotta get voted on.
You gotta say yes.
All right. Give it up, motion.
All in favor?
All in favor of the motion, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. 1 minute.
Okay, thank you. And then also, I would like to bring up the process server. You may come up and serve these federal documents. Thank you. Get ready for the lawsuit.
No talking. No talking.
Police department? Do you have anybody else service?
No, I believe I don't see another person, but those of you that's watching, just know, you on this list, you can't hide. Because that federal lawsuit is gonna drop on your behind. Because we're not playing. The city of Prairie deserves better. And we showing results, not talking. So I'll let you know, Ms. Process Server Lady, thank you so much for your service. Anybody else?
Ma'am. Okay.
Thank you.
She literally said, anybody else? Welcome, Juicy Juice and Temper. Yes, we are going through a day. I just thought I'd start off with that one because, again, people are coming out, they're speaking up, and they're taking action. So hopefully everyone follows suit and starts really, really looking into the officials in their city and their county and everything else, because this is where a lot of the stuff starts with fraud, the money, and then it goes trickling down to the children, and then the children become affected, where it starts affecting, the HHS offices and things like that. Like, there's all that transportation of, our little ones, that have been going on here in Texas and things like that. So we're definitely got to stop it and put a stop to it. And if lawsuits and prison is the only way to stop it, then so be it. So we are gonna go again. This is going I'm into my video. Why does it always start? We're going to the 8-year-old. He was actually he dies after being shot in the neck while he was playing with a group of kids, and they had obviously were playing with the gun, and it went off. And so this is another alert for parents where we got to be sorry. This is another situation to where we got to keep our kids safe. If we I know there's laws where, we have the right to bear arms and things like that, but we need to do it safe. We need to make sure our kids are safe. If this is one of the reasons you're buying it, to protect your family, but also putting your family in danger at the same time. Yes, I am. I know I've been kind of falling behind, but I am going to try to make it back. Of course, after the event, I just need to get everything situated and things like that. So, and start planning for a future event too. So, yes, but there has been a lot happening. So we're definitely going to try to cover as much as we can today, along with any kind of news updates, with past stories I've covered. So it's always great to have you guys here. So always, if you don't forget to like, subscribe, share, let everybody know we are here. We are discussing important topics, and these things do need to be shared and spread. It is the free way to support this channel. So please support. If you do want to support financially, you can go to the QR code or to any of the links down below. I do have my Cash App up as well when the chat goes off the screen. So plenty of ways to support the channel. Don't forget, we also have our merch out for the Vivid Lifestyles organization. So let's get into this to this one. Let's share this one instead. So now we're gonna go into the story of the 8-year-old.
On the southeast side. Investigators say the shooter is just 13 years old. KENS 5 reporter Megan Reina joins us live from the newsroom with what else we're learning tonight. Megan?
Well, Alicia, police have not said what charges that 13-year-old is facing. Initially, investigators on scene told us they believed a group of kids may have been playing with a gun when it went off, killing that 8-year-old.
It's usually a real quiet neighborhood.
A man living off Bob Billis Street heard the faint sound of a gunshot next door around 4:30 Friday afternoon. Police would be called and discover an 8-year-old boy inside the home upstairs, shot in the neck. He was rushed to the hospital where he died. The medical examiner identifying him as Daniel Casares.
Those guy next door is my friend, and those kids are good kids.
Police detained 4 kids on scene ranging from ages 10 to 15. Some are related, some are just friends. A sergeant told us Friday it appears they may have been playing with a handgun while no parents were home. At some point, the 8-year-old was shot.
The mother and father came home and they were devastated.
As the investigation unfolded, police say it appears a 13-year-old is who was holding the gun when it went off. This neighbor says, as a father himself, it's hard to imagine the pain this family is going through, but he's keeping them in his prayers.
Yes, I lit a candle last night. Say God bless the family. I feel really bad.
And tonight we're working to learn where that gun came from and if the victim and suspect were related. Reporting live from the newsroom, Megan Reina, KENS 5.
Okay, so as you may tell, these kids were not small kids. They were 10 years and older. So these were kids that you would think would know better not to touch, or was at least told several times by the parents, don't touch. Again, they don't know if it was a gun that was already established inside the house. So we can't say if it was that person's, that house's, the gun belonged to that residence. But it could have came from another friend that brought it over or anything like that. But at the same time, all these kids were above the age of 10 years and older. So so yes, we do need to make sure our kids are well aware that these things are not toys, obviously. And I know every kid thinks it's not going to happen to them or things like that, or every parent, whether it belonged to that resident or it was brought to that resident by one of the children, all these parents who were involved, their kids had, a duty to say something and to stop whatever was happening, to prevent this incident from happening. So we need to teach our kids that, if one of their friends are playing with it, if they see somebody with one, they need to go and tell somebody. And then again, these kids were by themselves. No parents were around. So I don't know. It may be the 15-year-old was maybe watching them because it is summer. So they're home, Not everybody can afford daycare, especially for children. I mean, that age. And daycare, I think, actually stops at 15 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Or 12 years old or something like that. So, but yes, it's getting ridiculous. There's a bunch of laws out there for these types of artillery and stuff like that. And, it's just, And so we don't even know the information on whether this gun was registered, whether it was, you know, this person was allowed to have this weapon and things like that. So again, there's a lot of questions to the story, and then it seems like a lot of these stories that I have been trying to look on, it just kind of dies after the first couple of days and nothing happens. There's no really follow up, no detail on it, even though they're like, yes, we'll follow up with some details, but they don't really put anything out. So of course, more detailed investigations required more funds. So I can only get so much information from the news, but unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of detail at the time, and there still really isn't that much detail at the time. Just that my heart goes out to the families, to these children who were involved and who is on both sides, the victim and the accuser. So that is going to be a tough situation. Hopefully it truly was an accident, and these kids, they learn from it and they're able to tell their story in the future to prevent this from happening. That could be the only good thing that comes out of something like this. So we are going to go to the next story. Let's see what's going on over here. What's the matters with the babies? Okay, let's hide this on the stream. So the next story is going to be a 6-year-old girl who tragically dies at a Texas daycare center. So it's pretty sad. So I'm gonna start this real quick so I can keep the the ad. So, and again, all these are happening in Texas. This is all around Texas. I'm bringing you in this segment a bunch of just Texas news because one, this is kind of where I'm located at, and two, it's actually a lot has been happening day in and day out. I don't even really watch the news. I just get on in the morning to kind of see the updates and see what really happened. And then, according to the titles, I'll pick out what, is meant for me to speak on. And things like this, when it comes to daycares and things like that, it's so heartbreaking. Let's just go ahead and listen to the story, and then we'll kind of give our opinions on it. Again, trigger warning.
And breaking news now, Bexar County Sheriff's deputies are investigating after a 6-month-old girl who was found unresponsive at a daycare in the 11,700 block of Dunnup Road. The call came in just after 3 at the Kid Country Early Learning Center. KENS 5's Vanessa Croy is there now with more. And Vanessa, what are you learning?
Sarah, deputies tell us that EMS crews rushed to the scene of this Kid Country Learning Center here off Dunnup Road and found the little girl not breathing. And for almost an hour, they did everything they could to save her life. But despite their tireless efforts, tragically, the girl did not survive. Now, investigators tell us that they did not see obvious signs of injury, but they are handling this as a potential crime until evidence proves otherwise. In the last 5 minutes, we have seen the medical examiner pull up here, and that's when the process of determining the cause and the manner of death. It's unclear whether the baby had any pre-existing medical conditions or a current illness. And in the last hour, parents have been here picking up their children at this daycare that's now turned into a crime scene. And right now, deputies say they are waiting on the cause of death for the ME to make that determination before they can try to figure out if there's any crime elements here. For now, reporting on the southeast side, Vanessa Croy, KENS 5.
Hey, business.
So, again, Bear County, San Antonio, Texas, there has been a lot of deaths regarding around children, whether it is, so far in this case, it's undetermined what really causes 6-month-old death. Um, but let's see if there's an update, because that was literally just yesterday with. Let's see. 20, nope. That just seems to be the most recent, except for this one. This one says 4-month-old. So is it a 6-month-old or a 4-month-old? They loud, I know. Skip ass.
Antonio. A man was killed in a tragic accident when he was helping a neighbor trim
Man,
a
this
tree.
isn't the one.
Neighbors say 40-year-old Alex Quinta.
Keep up with the news. I thought they were going to show me the. Why did it go to that one?
I'm Henry Ramos, and this is the news in San Antonio. A man was killed in a
Okay.
tragic accident when
I guess they're not going to show me. That's retarded. Okay. This one says 4-month-old. The other one says 6-month-old.
Tonight, we're learning the name of the baby girl who died at a Bexar County daycare. Tonight, the medical examiner identifying her as 4-month-old
It is
Lolinda
a
Luna. This
4-month-old.
afternoon, EMS was called to the Kid Country Early Learning Center on Donop Road. Investigators say the baby was not breathing. EMS crews tried for nearly an hour to save her life. As of tonight, no cause of death has been revealed. Meantime, the Bexar County Sheriff's Office is investigating the death.
So again, still nothing on the cause of death, but now it went from a 6-month-old to a 4-month-old. So that is tragic. Okay, now this is the tragedy one. Texas family demands answers after video shows son allegedly abused by educators. And I believe the son was an autistic son, an autistic child, autistic child. So he's basically, I think, in like special education is what they call special ed. I don't know what they call it. But he is in he does has yes, he is in special education, and he does, so that means they're required to have multiple teachers in the classroom. So yeah, so that means both of them will be in trouble. Let this happen to my child, and I'm all for it. But just remember, if you are in Texas, there is a law. If your child is in any kind of special education, you can have the schools put up cameras in the special education classrooms, but they have to be requested in order for that to happen. So, and they can't turn that down. And I believe there was a post about it too that I seen too about it. I should have saved it, but yes, it is. If your child is in special education, you have the right to request cameras to be put into the classroom, and the school cannot deny that. They have no other option but to honor that request. So that is something that you might want to keep in mind if your child is in public schools here in Texas, and they are in a special education class. So, but again, this family went through a lot. The video does show, again, this is going to be trigger warning. Let me put up the trigger. Let me put up the trigger warning, because this is going to be trigger warning. Again, we need to keep our children safe. That's the ultimate thing. And things and acts like this, it's unacceptable. These types of people, male or female, do need to be put away for life and never see outside of prison again. You know, honestly, I think that's worse than the death penalty in most cases, but you know, it just depends on the abuser and the accuser. So let's go ahead and share this screen, and we're gonna watch this video. Again, trigger warning. It's a sad video. It does show child. You can kind of see some of the actions going on. So just beware.
Furious and upset tonight, and this is why you're looking at it. The mother of a 10-year-old child with autism is shown in this video, and the video appears to show her son being slapped by one of his special education teachers, while there's another educator that appears to throw something at him. All this playing out at Millsap Elementary School in Parker County, just west of Fort Worth. Tonight, Amelia McGavro is sharing her conversation with that boy's family, who not just wants answers tonight, but they also want justice.
Video shows 10-year-old Alex Cornelius, who is autistic and nonverbal, appearing to be slapped by his special education teacher. He then walks over to the other teacher in the room, who then yells at him and then hits him with an object and throws it at him.
It was heartbreaking. I was outraged. I was furious.
We assume that the school is doing the job that they're supposed to be doing as well, and they failed us miserably.
The video, now shared hundreds of times, was taken by a former assistant teacher in the class back on February 18th. Mother Carissa Cornelius admits she didn't know about the incident until March 10th.
It took 21 days for me to find out what had finally happened to him.
They have a duty under state law to report to the parents as soon as feasible.
Millsap ISD says both teachers shown in the video are no longer employed with the district. The Parker County Sheriff's Office also says they are investigating. However, legal experts tell me that these type of incidents are more common than you think.
It really highlights an endemic issue that we have in the state because of the lack of funding and lack of education and training.
Attorney Wesley Gould specializes in criminal neglect with people with special needs and says these accusations could lead to criminal action.
That is a felony, and you could face up to 10 years in jail along with a hefty civil penalty as well.
The district says they used an outside investigator to look into these allegations, which has now led to both the school's principal and assistant principal being put on administrative leave. In the meantime, Cornelia says her son is now afraid to go to school.
Because he wanted to go, he loved it, absolutely loved it, and they took that from him. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to send him back because he is terrified.
The family now seeking legal action and hopes to raise awareness.
I want to make sure that no parent and no child ever has to go through what we're going through. No, nobody, special ed or not, I'm here to fight and I'm not backing down.
In Millsap, Amelia McGavro, CBS News, Texas.
It's not.
Geez, 21 days for these parents to find out that an employee, a teacher, smacked your kid, like has been abusing your child. Like, what is? See, there's the way the system is set up is so wrong in so many ways. It's always saying it's there to protect the children, but it really isn't. It's there to protect themselves. And that's pretty much it. It's not geared for any other way. And I think the learning in the school in the schools today have severely backtracked in so many ways. But again, that is my opinion. That's my personal opinion. So, but yeah, this teacher again how are these schools finding these people? Like, I get it, we're in need of teachers, and but it doesn't help that you're cutting back budgets and laying off a bunch of people. So it's going to shit is what it is. It's really going to shit. And our kids are suffering for it, and everybody thinks they know what's best for the kids and whatnot, but again, everybody's different. Everybody learns at a different capacity. But where are we finding these stupid teachers who are beating up on our children? Where are we finding them? Because wherever you're finding them, you need to stop going there and looking, because really, this is unacceptable. Like, our jails are going to be so filled up. Our prisons are going to be so filled up with all this children crime. It's going to be ridiculous. And I don't understand why we can't just put them on a little island somewhere. And yes, Donald Trump had the right idea with this alligator island thing. And I think it's because I really think they're alligators are not crocodiles, right? If I remember correctly. No, they're crocodiles, not alligators. It was one or the other, because they're calling it alligator Alcatraz or whatever one, and then it's the opposite. But anyway, I'm like, we need those for these type of people who abuse our children, not for people who want to cross the border illegally. They know how to live in the water. So I'm like, and then these teachers are young. Like, it seems like every year they just seem to get younger and younger and younger. Like, they're fresh out of college. Like, don't these people have to like put in like 5 years of like teaching assistants or something, where they gotta follow a teacher around and learn how to behave in classrooms along with the students? Like, I just don't understand the process of like how long it takes to become a teacher. Apparently anybody could become a teacher and get hired out of district, because like, do these people, like all these people who are like being caught abusing our children in school, do they not have a background or a history in any kind of physical violence? Because that would be a red flag to me. Maybe, you know what, maybe like the school district should take a little lesson from like the military and require like some kind of mental what do you call them, mental checklist or something that they got to do before going in, to make sure you're mentally prepared for this kind of stuff that you might be dealing with. Because being a teacher is not easy. I give them that. Being a teacher is not easy, but you got to have a special kind of skill set to handle these type of kids nowadays, especially nowadays where the kids have just gotten way worse than we have. Or it's not the fact that they're worse, they just think that they're just not clever like we are. They're just dumb and they don't care, is what it is. They lack the empathy. They don't care. So I'm like, this isn't gonna. They need to have a mental evaluation before teaching our children. I really think they do. But anyway, so let's go on to the next story. And another child found dead inside of a car in Poteet, Texas. So again, our kids have been coming up in vehicles deceased for some reason, whether it's heat or other reasons. But this one is another, and we're going to go ahead and get into it. Show on stream.
As we continue to follow that breaking news for you, we have an exclusive live picture from your South Texas Ford dealer Sky 4 helicopter above Poteet right now. We have been following the breaking news that Poteet police and the Texas Rangers are investigating after a child was found dead in a vehicle. This is near the intersection of Avenue E and Boyd Street in Poteet. We were hoping to get a little more perspective for you, we did see a car on top of a trailer bed, and there are a number of law enforcement out there as well. We do have News 4 San Antonio's Destiny Fuller on the scene as well, hoping to bring you some more information. So we're going to continue to follow this live picture, and just as soon as we get more information, we will bring that to you right here and on news4sanantonio.com. That is the latest from the live desk. Mandy?
Thanks, Melissa.
With Design.com. Start by visiting the Design.com website.
This is another view of the scene of that it was a 4-year-old that was found deceased in a car in Poteet, Texas. Yeah. My mic is off. Again, this is the vehicle that they were stating in the news that it was up on the tow truck already. I'm sure that it's going to make its way to this station for further investigation. This is the vehicle where the child was found deceased in. Again, this is in Poteet, Texas. This was, I believe, yesterday or the day before yesterday. So they're slowly taking that vehicle in. Still see they're trying to get it together. And you can see the family. Seems like they're taking somebody in. So again, this was on the scene for a 4-year-old who was found deceased left in a car here in Poteet, Texas. And again, there's not much further information on this as of now. So again, we as parents, we need to protect our children, regardless of the situation. And as you can tell in Texas, like a lot of things happen with our children, but they don't really put out a lot of information. And we are going to discuss this further once we. So again, we were able to see them take away the vehicle in which they found the deceased in, and they were taking it back to the station for further investigation. Again, this is pretty much all the news, all the information we have at this point. But again, we will continue to try to get follow up with these stories throughout the time if they do allow us to. Yes, it was pure neglect. Um, we are going to go to now. We're going to kind of talk about some of these cases and kind of get more into the statistical sides of it and see and more some political and some statistical. So again, here in Texas, Texas bans the non-disclosure agreements in sex abuse cases. So a bill that would have let me take this off. Sorry, guys. So a bill that would ban NDAs, non-disclosure agreements in SA cases is heading to Governor Greg Abbott's desk. So in Austin, Texas, a bill banning the use of non-disclosure agreements in SA cases is headed to Governor Greg Abbott's desk. Senate Bill 835, nicknamed Trey's Law, bans NDAs in civil cases that prevent a person who was SA from speaking out about the abuse. The law applies to cases also involving a child or trafficking. This is a critical step forward for justice, transparency, and the protection of future victims. Senator Angela Paxton, the bill's author, said, for too long, powerful institutions and individuals have used NDAs as a tool to cover up abuse and silence the voices of those they've harmed. So kind of like how we saw in the Diddy case and things like that. You know, a lot of these people were saying like they weren't allowed to speak because they had a lot of and they signed NDAs, so they pretty much could not speak on anything. So this law here in Texas will prevent that from happening. So even if you they do try to get you to sign an NDA, even if you do sign an NDA, it won't even be legit legal. So again, Paxton said the bill allows abuse survivors to speak the truth. So the back history of this bill is named after the Trey Clark, a Dallas man who killed himself after he was groomed and essayed as a kid at a summer camp. Carlock had pursued a civil lawsuit to seek damages for his abuse, but was forced to sign an NDA for the settlement. So again, NDAs are not going to be, I mean, even for the settlement, you're not even going to be able to sign an NDA because this risks the facts of hiding the abuser. And the whole point is like not to do that, right? We're not trying to protect the abuser. So again, this law would prevent that, giving the abuser any kind of extra protection that they may have. So Trey's Law honors the life of Trey Carlock by empowering others to break their silence, seek justice, and protect future victims. Texas is sending a powerful message. The truth should never be hidden, and survivors will no longer be silenced by legal documents designed to protect predators. Plano Republican Jeff Leach, who authored the House version of the bill, took to social media after the bill passed. Trey's Law is truly historic victory for survivors and victims and a death blow for the perpetrators hiding in the shadows, Leach said. The woman who accused Gateway Church founder Robert Morris of SA her as a child testified during a committee meeting in March that she was offered a settlement and asked to sign an NDA. And there is video on that where she does state that. Cindy Clemishire said she was offered a $25,000 settlement but refused to sign the NDA. She said the decision ultimately allowed her to get justice 40 years later. Because I refused to sign the NDA at age 37, I can sit here now at age 55 and share my story and be the voice for so many people, she said. The bill now heads to Abbott's desk, and if it's signed, the law will take effect on September 1st. So, again, this is a bill here we're having. So, here in Texas, we have obviously a lot of crime towards against violence, domestic violence, abuse from minors to women to everything. So this bill is kind of a step forward in the right direction. Is one step forward to stop a lot of these things from happening. Obviously, these last couple of weeks has been nothing but about these children. And here in Texas, there has been a couple around, outside of Texas and other states, but for the majority of part, a lot of these stories have been coming from Texas. So this bill that they can no longer have NDAs will no longer be valid or used as a way to silence victims is a positive step. It's actually a huge step. So, and in this case, it may seem like a baby step. It is a baby step, but it's a baby huge step. So, again, between the Prairie View the elected officials getting served, and with this bill coming out, we are kind of going in the right direction. Hopefully some of these other laws we will be able to look at further and in detail to maybe fix them. But on the other hand, with that being said, since this bill is taken, may obviously be pushed and signed by Greg Abbott, there are other things that we do got to look at. The statistics as far as in Texas and when it comes to abuse cases for the 2025 year have gone down, from what the numbers show. But overall, when you actually really look at it, a lot of the things have changed to change those numbers. So let's kind of look into that and see if this is like a factor on why Texas is showing that their abuse rates have gone down, even though we are one of the largest, pretty much the second or third largest state in the United States to have abuse crimes, from domestic violence to elder abuse to child trafficking to a bunch of things. So we are one of the top, pretty much 3 states when it comes to those kind of statistics. So again, Texas keeps child abuse and neglects this out of sight. Bringing light proves complex and costly. So okay. So this story is part of When a Home is in Danger, a multi-part. Okay. It just says on how Texas is leaving children in dangerous homes and families without ongoing support or monitoring. So again, these are for people who obviously may be abusing their child, and then CPS or government official gets involved, but they don't follow through with certain protocols, or they overlook, or they may be concentrating on a family who doesn't need these types of services or this type of watch. So again, on June 12, 2016, 3-month-old Leanne Fuentes was found dead after co-sleeping with her mother, who later tested positive for Coca-Cola. Child Protective Services was investigating her mother for the 3rd time when the Houston girl died. So again, they've already been called out several times. This was the third time where they were brought to this house and the child was no longer alive. The woman was most recently investigated when less than 90 days prior, someone called the state to report her mother trying to sell the child at the motel where she was living, according to state documents. So, in order for them to leave a child after getting a serious allegation like that, and if being more than 90 days that this child was still in the care of that mother, is by all means observed like ridiculous to me. It's mind blowing, because I'm sure if there wasn't any type of actual evidence that there was something, I'm sure they probably would have taken the child. Like, these people have totally got it like backwards. It's like, I don't understand how they pick and choose these cases on why they get to take the child and why they don't. Because in my eyes, half of these things where there's a history to it and they still leave these children in with these care with under these parents' care is by all means, when some can maybe just falling off the stupid swing at a playground and it's the end of the world and they never get to see their child again. Like, I just don't understand like where it gets lost in the sauce. Like, where does it get lost in the sauce? I don't understand where it does. So anyway, the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services, which oversees CPS, would later conclude the department violated its own standard 5 ways in the case, including not initiating contact quickly enough, downgrading the seriousness of the investigation, like really, failing to make contact or follow up, wow, and failing to follow protocol on requesting assistance from other parts of the department. Like, clueless, are we? Like, come on now. DFPS reviewed its investigation and worked with family, noted its failures. Okay, so that made recommendations for improvement and published the report on its website, where it still sits archived today. This was the last death that one of these reports was produced for and made public nearly a decade ago. So again, there hasn't been another case since that has been made public. For most of it, not all families who were involved with DFPS and then suffered the tragic loss of a child through abuse and neglect, if any information is given about what role the state's action or inaction played or who the alleged perpetrator was. And without this information being made public, it really protects the perpetrator and it protects the government agency. It is just one of many ways the department acts go largely unpublicized. The department often is shielded from the public scrutiny in individual case investigations by open records exemptions, inadequate records collection, and outdated computer systems that often lead to prohibitively high costs. To the public, the state's involvement with its most vulnerable Texans often remains an impenetrable black box. I think there's a huge threat, Prather said. The threat, Prather said, is that the people are less likely to trust OPEC institutions, and she questioned how DFPS can be accountable over its actions in individual cases if the public is blocked from understanding those failures. Exactly. So, again, the system sucks. I don't even know any other way to put it. The system sucks. It's a big old horse scam. I mean, the 16-year-old woman was one of the handful. Okay, so Susie Wilson still remembers when police showed up on her doorstep in the middle of August night in 2022 to tell her something had happened to her granddaughter. Oh my God, they killed my baby, she remembers saying. What did you just say? Papa's. Okay. Okay, give me a second. I don't even know where you got cookie from. We don't even have cookies. That's what he was saying. If he was the movie was done, so if you give a mouse a cookie, show came on afterwards. So that's where he got cookie from. I was like, where do you get cookie from? We don't got no cookies. But anyway, so again, she says, "Oh my God, they killed my baby." She remembers saying her 9-year-old granddaughter, Hardy Quinn Hill, had been found dead, emaciated, and beaten. Her daughter and her daughter's girlfriend will spend the rest of their lives in prison as a result. The 69-year-old woman was one of a handful of people who called the Texas Department of Family Protective Services over the concerns of Hardy Quinn's safety, but she has still never gotten an explanation of the state's behavior in the case. So, again, so nobody's being held responsible for this daughter's death besides the mom, because apparently, see, oh well, we get to them, oh well, like, what the heck? For Eddie Williams, father of deceased 3-year-old Alana Williams, the department failed to inform him that his estranged wife and her boyfriend were even being investigated for abusing the girl. Wow, they didn't even tell the dad. Williams learned about several of the abuse allegations made prior to his 3-year-old granddaughter's death from a TPR reporter years after her death. How it wasn't a freak accident, something fell from the Empire State Building, it wasn't adding up to me, and I just couldn't understand that, he said. But answers are not forthcoming from the department, who he said never reached out to explain itself, nor sent him any information about the death. So it's like, oh well, your daughter died. Have a nice life. Like, what? The child fatality reviews we did years ago were not required and were discontinued, said Marissa Gonzalez, DFPS Media Relations Director. Okay, and your point is what? Okay. Instead of these fatality reviews, audits that include analysts and department actions and inactions in its investigations and how it can improve, the department must release a fatality report about abuse and neglect deaths. These short reports include basic details about the child, about previous investigations into the family, and some of the services the department provided, along with a narrative. The more robust fatality review audits have now been deemed confidential, as TPR discovered when it tried to request them last summer. Wow. But even documents DPS makes public are only provided upon request and are often plagued by agency foot dragging. So, which is true. Here it says county's child's residence, gender, age, and death. On the day of the fatality, the child was not in DFPS conservatorship and was living with the child's parent, a managing conservator, a legal guardian, or other person entitled to the child's possession. And it says back in 822, the department responded to a report of a fatal event after law enforcement was called to the home where deceased child was found. There were concerns that deceased child was malnourished and that she might have. Wow. So now they're misleading the public. In fact, DPS investigator who requested a removal for the girl was rebuffed by the Bexar County District Attorney's Office. Salazar later died from a blunt force trauma while being cared for by these strangers. When a 3-year-old Romney Salazar died in the public fatality report stated the girl and 6 of her siblings had been removed from her mother, Cassandra Lopez, but it doesn't appear any removal proceedings occurred. Ronnie and her brother had been dumped with strangers her mother met at a restaurant, according to a state investigator. Wow. This is a long. So let's see the cost. The law aimed at lowering unnecessary removals made all removals more difficult, according to the current and former DFPS investigators. The state has yet to analyze the impact of the law. TPR's requests aimed at evaluating its impact were met with stunning costs. DFPS sent an estimate of at least $225,000 for one TPR request that included the total number of requests for removal that were denied for the past 5 years, the total number of children included in removal requests who subsequently died in the past 5 years, the names of the children who died after a removal request was denied in the past 5 years, and the total number of removals requested to the county district attorneys for the same period. The state said the data would take 12,500 employee hours to produce, requiring individual reviews of 50,000 cases from the past 5 years. That is roughly 18 months of one person's work if they never slept. That sounds highly suspicious. It sounds like there's likely a spreadsheet somewhere where at least some of that information is included. When the request was amended and reduced to just over 1,000 cases, the cost still exceeded 4,600. The data proved too costly and had been too narrowed to provide comprehensive results. In another attempt to provide the public with more detailed and nuanced view of the state's changes to the law, TPR requested 2 years worth of redacted emergency removal affidavits, documents filed by attorneys to remove a child from the home. TPR requested the documents because on October 2022 survey of child welfare judges showed 2/3 of judges believed abuse and neglect cases were growing more severe before they reached a courtroom after the law changed. After months of review, the state presented TPR with a cost estimate of more than $30,000. Unfortunately for the public, that proved too high a cost. So basically, they don't want to give us any information. They're making these cost way too much to even to request something that is supposed to be accessible to the public. So let's see why so again, with that said, remember how that was saying the laws have been changing. Now they're making it more difficult for them to get these numbers to see. So it's basically going to ask, why are they doing this? It does seem suspicious. What are they covering up and what are they hiding? So here in the Texas Public Radio, in the PulitzerCenter.org, share this tab instead. It says Texas massive drop in child neglect and abuse death is misleading. And this is going to tell us exactly why. Texas released another in a series of reports charting a precipitous decline in child fatalities from abuse and neglect this month. So again, they put this out this month, so it has to be at least within the last year or two, or maybe just in 2025. But as long as I've been reporting, there has been numerous cases where there was some type of child abuse or neglect. I mean, when you have children's deaths in cars, who's playing with gun, things like that. That is neglect. You left a gun presentable where a child can get it. It's kind of neglect. So, if you leave your child in a hot car, that is neglect. Not including the child that was left in the hot car by the government. She was a DFPS worker who was there transporting the kid between one location to another location, since the parents had to have like supervised visits almost. So she was transporting the kid. And so she was like the middleman, but still she was government official doing her job. And you left this child in the back seat, hot, to die. Just saying. So Texas really, so again, they're stating the child maltreatment annual fatality report shows an incredible 60% decline in tragic deaths in less than 5 years. This paramount achievement comes paradoxically as the state has reduced services to troubled families as well as the number of children it removes from dangerous homes. The Texas Department Family and Protective Services dramatically reduced how often it gave services to families accused of abusing and neglecting their children between 2018 and 2023. DFPS provided no services or ongoing monitoring to 60% of all families where it found abuse or neglect in 2023. Simultaneously, the state reduced the number of children it removed from homes where it found abuse and neglect. 40% fewer children between 2021 and 2023 without similar reduction in maltreatment findings. So, of course, again, this is going back to that previous article where they were saying that they made the laws a lot harder for them to remove children. They made the laws a lot harder. It's too costly. They did this to reduce the price and to reduce the price. Um, Actually, well, what I'm trying to say is they raised the price to remove these kids, so that way they're reducing the statistics amount, saying, oh, we're not removing these, they're now we're having less children removed from the home, but they're making it a lot more difficult to have these children removed, especially if they've already found previous neglect and abuse for these kids. So that these should be the priority kids that are being removed, and they're not. So they're making the numbers look like they're going up when intentionally now they're going up. Yeah, I mean, to go down. So now the numbers are going down, so it's decreasing, but ultimately there's going to be more deaths. But then again, they changed those laws too. So let's figure out where they changed them. The drop in deaths coupled with a reduction in services is so logically incongruous. God, I can't say that it leaves some wondering if the numbers may be too good to be true. That does not feel right. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't look right, said Melinda Gouchois, a visiting professor of social work at Simmons University in Boston, who spent more than 24 years working in U.S. child welfare and juvenile justice state agencies. The plunging numbers coincide with changes in law and policy on what counts as neglect, death, and when the department even investigates death for abuse and neglect. Under 2021's House Bill 567, the legislature raised the legal threshold, driving down two of the largest categories of neglect deaths, which is drownings and asphyxiation due to unsafe sleep accommodations. So basically, suffocation. Like, often involving the accidental smothering by parents impaired by drugs or alcohol. So these two death types still lead the number of neglect deaths according to DEFPS. But since they're no longer considered part of that category, they cannot be counted. And in the statement, DEFPS pointed two drops in physical abuse deaths, the lowest since 2017, which would have been unaffected by the definitional change. The state acknowledged for the first time in the latest Child Maltreatment Annual Fatality Report that the decline in neglect deaths, the largest share of maltreatment deaths nationally, is due to the 2021 law. But the state has conducted no analysis on how the law impacts child safety. And state data reflects that children continue to die in homes that are abusive and neglectful and were known to the states. So again, they're trying to fool us, is what they're trying to do. While the state's fatality numbers shown a significant drop in verified child abuse and neglect fatalities since 2018, there has been a sharp rise in other category of child deaths recorded by DFPS. One growing category includes times abuse and neglect was found in the home, but the department ruled it out as causing the death. Another growing category includes deaths within a family with a history of abuse and neglect allegations, where abuse and neglect were again found in the home at the time of the death, but was not considered responsible for the fatality. What? Advocates argue the state is very likely simply recategorizing the deaths it once counted as neglect. They are not being counted as fatalities because they've gutted the neglect definition. If fewer children are dying from neglect, it's only because you're redefined neglect to essentially not be neglect. The state declined to answer TPR's question about recategorizing deaths, likely ones it once counted as neglect. I mean, you can only compare what you can compare, like if your metrics are different, if you have apples and oranges. But maybe that's part of the reason for changing this so that you can't compare. Investigating fewer deaths leads to finding fewer deaths. The state then took more action that resulted in abuse and neglect deaths falling potentially only on paper. In 2023, the state changed its policy on when it investigates a child fatality for abuse and neglect. Now the department only investigates when explicit concern for abuse and neglect exists at the time of the death. If it does not, first responders are asked to contact the department if something comes up. This change resulted in DFPS investigating 30% fewer child abuse and neglect fatalities in 2023, the year the policy changed, according to the state numbers on fatalities assigned for investigation. They are deliberately undercounting, said Duke. So again, they're just kind of going in, rearranging the word and the abuse and these numbers to kind of spread it across the board now and make it look like abuse and neglect has gone down and it's just simply like a murder case or something. Because for whatever reason. Apparently it costs more to keep it hushed than it is to save the child. This isn't the first time the policy changes resulted in wild swings recorded in Texas child abuse and neglect fatalities. In the late 1990s, the state required that any child who died under the age of 6 receive an autopsy. Douglas pointed to an incredible jump the following year. In 1997, Texas child abuse and neglect fatality rate was slightly above the national average. By 1998, the number had surged by 75%. It seems highly unlikely that 75% more children died in Texas from abuse and neglect in 98 as compared to 97, especially as the overall child death rate declined during that time. It also said other states were undercounting abuse and neglect deaths. But it isn't always just data abnormalities accounting for Texas numbers. The Austin American-Statesman found the state was undercounting its child abuse and neglect fatalities in 2015. One of the big problems around this issue is that there is no national standard for what counts as an abuse and neglect death. Many states count these deaths in various ways, resulting in a messy situation. Despite questions around how Texas has gone about its counting, Douglas did think its attempt to standardize the count was positive. I applaud their efforts to really try to nail down exactly what they are going to consider abuse and neglect related death. A report out last year from the American Enterprise Institution highlighted the many differences in how states' definitions could impact their numbers. For example, a child who drowns in a bathtub might be classified as neglectful death in one state, but as an accident in another. See? As states like Texas change standards, deaths may have been counted as neglect one year and not the following. An estimated 2,000 children died in 2023 from abuse and neglect, according to the latest federal child maltreatment report. We've seen child deaths increase nationally. We know that that our official numbers are undercounts of the number of children who are dying from abuse and neglect, and so agencies don't want that made public. Political leaders don't want that made public. Undercounting deaths, a cursory review of media reports in Texas up at least a half dozen deaths that state failed to note in its fatality reports, despite caregivers being prosecuted for the crimes. Between 2018 and 2023, Texas reported the legislature 1,242 deaths from the abuse and neglect. When TPR requested the names and public fatality release reports from those deaths, we were given documentation for a little more than 1,200. When TPR asked about the year with the largest discrepancy, a state employee said it may have to do with overturned cases or cases where an alleged perpetrator appealed to DFPS administrative review process and the determination was changed from abuse neglect, but the state couldn't confirm. I'm still waiting for a final determination from our records folks on these numbers, said Marissa Gonzalez, Director of Communication for DFPS. 5 months later, the agency still has not provided an explanation. So again, they stonewall. Several lawmakers have commented on the need to help focus investigators on the report that matter, which is why they are targeted anonymous reporters. A 9% drop in total reporters occurred after the law passed between 2023 and 24, according to the state's data book website. The total number went from more than 13,000 reporters who insisted on being anonymous to intake workers down to around 300. So advocates worry the rules, added paperwork, and modest financial penalties will disincentivize doctors, who are some of the strongest safeguards for children, from reporting all incidents of suspect abuse and neglect. So there you have it. This is why we still have an issue with these child abuse, child neglects, and these deaths regarding this. You know, history with that child, with the mom who was left in the car, you know, all these things that are coming about here in Texas. Yes, we are having these laws like the NDAs and stuff like that for the SA victims and things like that. Yes, that is a step forward, but at the same time, we do got to protect our children from these people. And if we're making it difficult for these kids who are actually really needing to be taken away from their homes, again, sometimes they're taken from their homes and they get put into even just as bad or even a worse situation that they came from. So again, the system all around. You all right over there? So again, we need to protect our children. Again, our children are our dearest. We definitely got to keep an eye on them. We got to keep them safe. But I am going to try to return back later, guys. I'm going to do this investigation, a little more investigation. I did start looking into that July 28th mass shooting of New York. I honestly don't know. I seen the kind of like that little video of him walking with a gun. I haven't really looked into it that much. Just because the video itself seemed kind of weird. I mean, you're in New York City, you have this big artillery in your hand, and nobody does anything. But again, I will look into that. I'll get as much information. I don't know if I'll get to you guys later on today with that or tomorrow, but I am going to try to follow up. I will be on later on today. I just don't know what story I got to follow up on first. I know there was a lot that was happening with Jamal White for a while, a lot that was happening with Carmelo Anthony, a a lot of stuff has been coming out, gag orders, kids and student information. That was another thing I want to talk about, because student information here in Texas should be protected. There's already enough loonies out there, as we can see. We can barely protect our children in our own homes, let alone out there in the public. So again, everybody who was here, thank you for being here with me today. Let me see. Let me just check. Okay. Oh, and just to let you know, the Amber Alert was canceled. Let's see. Melina has been found safe. Let me share the screen real quick. We did have this come in yesterday. Oops. I posted it on my Facebook. So this was a little 3-year-old that went missing. This was her mom. She was a non-custodial parent. She is now being charged with kidnapping. Again, oh my goodness. Yes, I need a break. Melina has been found and is safe. The Amber Alert has been canceled. Tanisha has been arrested and charged with kidnapping. Both were located in Killeen, Texas. Thank you for your help of the U.S. Marshals, Lone Star Fugitive Task Force, and Killeen PD. So Melina was... My son had to go potty. My bad. So again, she was found safely, to everybody's help. Thank you guys who spread the word, who shared this this Amber Alert. Again, she was found. Keep doing that. She was found, guys. So again, oh, let me share. Actually, let me share this one. This is another one that happened. This man was caught with a large sum of narcotics. Definitely no grass was involved. It was all white and crystals and all that other stuff, methamphetamine, things like that. So, yes, street worth was over 500,000. Let's get to. This is him walking from the jail. He's being transported. Let's get to the interview with this.
Mike, why don't you let me get the last name? I knew it. I did know it. Yeah.
So again, this is in Bexar County in San Antonio, Texas.
Are y'all I know y'all are going at 9 a.m., right? Or 9 p.m.?
Yes.
I know, I'm sorry about that.
They might take you out.
Yeah, they might. All right, let me know when everyone's ready.
Just give me 1 minute.
Yeah, of course. Okay, ready? Good.
Yes, sir.
All right, Officer Nick Solis, N-I-C-K-S-O-L-I-Z, San Antonio Police Department Public Information Officer. The suspect seen before you today was Juan Vasquez, 40 years old, SID number 800-469. So this arrest stems today from a traffic stop that was conducted at the intersection of Bassie and McCullough at 12:30 today. During that traffic stop, our suspect was driving the vehicle, and our detectives have kind of been surveying him for the last 2 months as somebody who's known to transport narcotics. During this traffic stop, a wanted person was arrested and multiple narcotics were found in his car. Now, through that investigation, our detectives were able to secure a search warrant to the suspect's home at the 100 block of Dean Street. So they obtained a search warrant and they conducted a search warrant. In that search warrant, our detectives were able to find 40 to 50 kilos of methamphetamine, over a kilo of heroin, and multiple firearms. To put it in perspective, the street value of the narcotics that was found inside this home on Dean Street was estimated at $500,000. So this is a wonderful bust for our covert detectives. Great job to our covert response unit who had been looking at this suspect for a little while. A good job to our officers who were able to get him on a traffic stop, and were able to work together as one to getting all these drugs off the streets. Right now, the suspect's going to be charged with 2 counts of possession of a controlled substance, PG1, over 400 grams with intent to manufacture or distribute. And we do believe at this time, federal charges are pending. However, I cannot talk about that, and I'm free to your questions.
You know, you have a relation with, the mafia in Mexico or something like that?
I can't confirm that right now, Memo. All I know is still an active investigation. That's all part of it.
Nobody else was in the house?
Nobody else was in the house. However, when he was driving, there was somebody in that vehicle who was with them, who was arrested. They were a wanted person. I don't know what the charge of that felony warrant was, or if it was a felony warrant, it was a warrant, though. Mike, you were going to say something?
That was exactly what I was going to ask to clarify about that.
Okay.
I had missed that. You anticipate any other charges?
So through state, it's going to be the possession of a controlled substance, PG1, over 400 grams with intent to manufacture or, 2 charges. And then right now they believe federal charges are pending, but that's not through us. But that's just what I was told here by the detective.
Inside of the house, was everything packed, or there were like any lab or manufacturer or something that it was doing?
So I can't get into the specifics of what was found in the home. I do know that there was nobody else found in the home, but yes, when they entered the home, they weren't met with any resistance, but that's where they found the narcotics. And to put it in perspective, they said 40 to 50 kilos of meth is well over 400 grams. So it's a very good bust by our detectives, and just getting these drugs off the streets, and couldn't be more proud of them.
With that one, do you consider him like a distributor of this?
Well, yeah, that's part of the charge, to distribute and manufacture. So yes. Yeah.
How much is the money? How much is it around?
$500,000 in street credit, street value. Yeah. So everything he has. So it's estimated street value of $500,000.
Do we know if he's had previous drug charges? Do you know his previous history?
I don't have his previous history. I can get you that. I don't have his. Yeah, but yeah.
I know that the sheriff last week they got 2 search warrants for 2 different places. This is not related with them, right?
This has nothing to do with this.
It's totally different.
Yeah, I can't confirm.
So again, thanks to the wonderful police department here in San Antonio, Texas, they took down what possibly is another serious offender here in Texas, likely taking some of our children away from us. So great job to them for capturing this fugitive, capturing and taking all these narcotics off the street for us, keeping our community safe. Shout outs to you guys. And shout out to you guys for doing that. Again, it was just a traffic routine stop, and it led to further investigation. So that was a plus up for here in San Antonio. So again, there's good and bad everywhere. It just tends to be more bad sometimes than good. So definitely give those police, those SAPD officers a great shout out for doing, an excellent job in that situation. So again, I'm going to close it out there. We went over a lot of information. We had a lot of, tragedies here as far as with minors and things like that. We really need to speak to our kids on how to handle guns, teach them what's right, what's wrong, make sure we do our part in it, keep it locked away, do whatever we can. Again, there wasn't a lot of details on it. So as far as the overall message in that matter is we need to be more responsible if we do have that, if we do have weapons in our possession or in our home. Again, please look before you lock. Do not leave your kids in the car. Texas is a very hot state. It will get over 100 degrees outside of the car. It'll definitely be well over 100 degrees within seconds inside of a car, windows rolled up, no AC. It's inevitable. It will happen. Please look before you lock. Double check. Leave something in the back seat. Throw your phone back there. Throw your purse back there. Be knowledgeable so that way you have to go in to the back and get it, and that'll obviously you see your child back there. You're gonna get it, right? I hope. And then with the kind of going over some of this stuff. And then definitely don't forget, if you are a person with a child that is autistic and is in special education, if you are located in Texas, please, I wish I can go to, you know what? I think I do have it on my Instagram. Reels. How do I go to my saved ones? Is it right here? And I just have stupid shit. Shoot. And see, I don't know if I was under this. Let's see. I want to see if I could find it. Let's see. I forgot what I was looking for already. Okay. Oh yeah, the children's case. Text. Let me see. Texas. Let me go to videos. Okay, right here. And this isn't the one I was talking about. It was a guy who was on there, like on an Instagram post. But
A bill that Governor Kay Ivey signed into law today will let school districts across the state install cameras in special education classrooms. Districts can apply for these cameras to be fully funded by the state. Our Shelby County reporter Anjanae Robinson joins us live after talking with the superintendent in Pelham. Anjanae?
Well, Steve, Pelham Superintendent Chuck Ledbetter says that he wants to implement these cameras in the school district. He says it's a win-win for both teachers, parents, and students.
I think this is something that's a good thing. I think this is a place where technology can be used in a very positive way, and we'll be looking to make that happen.
Now, Superintendent Chuck Ledbetter says if something were to happen, they want to be able to provide proof.
We have to be careful with that and how we manage it, but we also want to manage it in a way that gives the most information to people that we can give.
Both for teachers and students' protection.
We have some students who can't be advocates for themselves.
And this protects them while also giving them a voice.
Times have changed, technology's changed, and it's a protection for everybody.
Now, Superintendent Ledbetter says that they are waiting for more details to become available, but they look forward to making their security the best that it could possibly be. Reporting live from Pelham, Anjanae Robinson, WBRC, Fox 6 News, on your side.
okay. So, and I know that there was a school, I think it was near Austin or like Dallas. I wish I could find it. I'm gonna have to find it. When I find it, Texas versus understanding this section. Is it this one?
School with WBRC. Classes start for most schools in our area next week, and students need more than just school supplies to feel confident the first day. Your Tuscaloosa reporter Calvin Reynolds is on your side with how.
I don't know if this one was it or.
Section 504. So I wanted to take a minute and break it down for you. So 17 states, including Texas, have filed a lawsuit challenging the Section 504 regulations that were adopted during the Biden administration. The regulations in particular acknowledge that individuals with gender dysphoria disorder are protected under Section 504 as individuals with disabilities. Now, these 17 states in their lawsuit, they point out that the statute that is the basis of Section 504 makes it clear that individuals with what's described as gender identity disorders are not individuals with disabilities under Section 504. So essentially, these states are saying, look, there's a conflict between the statute and the new Biden regulations, and they're asking the court to resolve that issue. Now, other courts have weighed in on the effect of gender dysphoria disorder on disability status, and those other courts have concluded that individuals with gender dysphoria disorder are protected individuals under the Americans with Disabilities Act, and therefore under Section 504. Notably, the other thing this case does is it challenges the constitutionality of Section 504 as a statute, meaning it's a broad challenge to the law itself. What's the court going to do with it? It's hard to say. But what I can tell you is there's no immediate impact on your obligations under Section 504. Continue to implement Section 504 policies and practices as you have up until now. And if you have questions about Section 504 and addressing the needs of individuals with gender dysphoria disorder, it's probably a good idea to check in with your attorney before you make any big decisions. Good luck out there. It's getting crazy. All right, there's a change in Texas law that I want to make you aware of related to teacher discretion in removing.
Okay. So again, there's a lot of back and forth with this. I think it's a good thing to, especially if it's for special education. I really think teachers bail out that. I think the school district may have a point to where they need to find, a safe legal way of allowing this kind of thing in the classroom, but at the same time there shouldn't be too much pushback because it's supposed to be in the safety of the kids. It's like, now what are you guys hiding? What is the school district hiding, and what are the teachers hiding? A lot of these districts should have that implemented, or they should just make it an automatic thing. I know a lot of daycares who have cameras in their classroom, and that's something as a parent you can either subject your child to or not, and it's your choice. You can either have your child go there or choose another location for your child. Simple as that. So same thing as far as school here at least in Bear County. There's not really much school zoning anymore to where if you live in a certain area, this is the district you go to. This is, if you live in this area, this is the school district you go to. I think now they kind of opened up the school districts to where anybody is able to go to any school district that they want to, regardless of residency. So again, a lot of this is political stuff. I don't really get into it because when I don't have the time to go into that rabbit hole of politicians and things like that, but politics and things, but I barely can keep up with the stories I put out for you guys as well as the other stuff. So again, I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to go and look up some of these flights for the planning. I am planning a 2-week Europe trip. You go to Paris, Rome, and London, and Zurich in Switzerland. So if anybody is down and has a group that's ready to go, just reach out to me and I can make all the plannings. So definitely that is my alternative job from talking to you guys and bringing you guys the news and stuff and any updates. That's what's going on around the world. So again, thank you for being here. If you want, again, the link to my website is down below. It is thestreamlabs.com/dishandT with D. You can also go there and find my merch page. We do have a bunch of stuff there. Let me go ahead and show you. Do I still have it up? Yes, I do. Let's show my merch page. We do have a bunch of stuff there. Again, I am on right now, so you will see me live here. So you can see the live here on the website too. So you don't always have to be logged into YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, Twitch, not Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, Patreon, Facebook, anything like that. So you can find me here. Go straight to my page. You could tip here, donate here, all right here on the side, on the left-hand side of the page, where it says one-time tip or monthly tip. It's either tip or donation. It says tip. I can't figure out a way to change that word to donation. So, anywho, so you can go ahead and go there and you just put in VVLS or put in Dish and T, and it'll either go to the organization or to the channel. It all works coincide. That this channel is to help spread the word of abuse and to help the abuse. And so yeah, so I did want to say eventually I will have hopefully if I can convince my neighbor to come on. He's having a really difficult time. He was abused as a child throughout most of his life. He had a few rough accidents. He is paralyzed. He's missing an arm, things like that. So I'm trying to get him to come out. He's in a really rough spot right now, in a rough time. So I am trying to get him. He wants to do. It's like he's on that verge to where he wants to do something good, but he just doesn't know where to go and how to go about it. So I am really going to try to open him up to our world here. So hopefully, my pub family here will be supportive and things like that. So again, if you want to support the abuse, please go to my webpage here. Go to the tip side, donate side. You could donate here if you want. You can also go to my merch page. Again, the merch is very simple. We do have some swimwear for the boys, for the girls as well. We have some leggings, some doggy bows, flip-flops, summer things right now. We will start getting into winter things here in the next couple of months, as well as me trying to come out with Dish and Tea merch. So I want to have Dish and Tea merch as well as Vivid Lifestyle merch. So again, help support the channel and the organization all at once. School is coming up. We do have some notebooks here for school coming up. Again, we do have t-shirts in different colors. You can see down here, we have it in blue, we have it in red, and we have it in purple, black. So definitely definitely want to come back and look at some of this stuff. Do support. Anything will help. Prices are pretty, I know they are a little high. I may have to go in and change some of those. This one's not too bad. Some of the cups and stuff like that, they're pretty reasonable. The notebooks are pretty reasonable. The flip-flops. This is not bad for $10 for a Vivid Lifestyle mug. So again, you can go to the website, help support. If you don't want to support in that way, just want to support financially, just go to the QR code at the top of the screen that way, and that you can donate there, or go down to the bottom of the screen. You could donate there, or go to the Cash App, which is Cash App Vivid Lifestyles, and you can go donate there as well. Again, we are collecting financial donations for the flooding here in Texas. So if y'all want to continue to send those, thank you for the people who have already donated. I've already sent that information out. Still trying to get the bank set up and things like that, so we can get all that going. But I know they're still needing a lot of funding. They're still having people needing help with cleanup and getting their houses back together. I know it's been a slow start with the government trying to get Kerrville and the surrounding areas with the flooding back up to where they should be. And so they're really needing outside assistance. Again, so thank you for being here, everybody. If y'all have any other stories y'all want me to discuss. Okay, permita. So again, I'm going to go for now, take a little break, and I should be back later, probably following up on one of my other previous stories. Okay, guys, y'all take care for now. Hearts out to you guys. Hold on, let me stop sharing this. Again, hearts, hearts, hearts. So, again, thank you for being here. Don't forget, pinkies up. Bye, guys.